he's coming on to walk. He only goes 1 block with us, and then the rest we're on our own. So today, look at this, so gloomy. It's like this drizzle rain. It's killing my bones. So today, you're gonna hear the verdict in the serial killer Border Patrol case. Yep, it came in like 6 minutes after I ended my live last night. Yeah, I should have just kept going. Oh well. So I'll show that to you today. Stay tuned. Hey, good morning everybody. Crafting Journey here. That Journey chick over on Instagram and on my other YouTube channel. It's known as The Leftovers. You can check that out by following the link down in the description. So last night I was working on some Christmas trees, watercolor painting some Christmas trees. This is one of them. This is actually the one we decided. Oh, here's a couple more. Here's a couple more. And then this is the one I decided to do on the Christmas cards. So, yeah, because I got to make more Christmas cards. I didn't make enough yet. So some of you are going to get the wreath that I've already done, and some of you are going to get the Christmas tree. It's a mystery which one you will get. So welcome to another episode of Crafting and Crime Daily, the show where I recap daily live trials. So last night, as I was working on the Christmas trees, I had my phone, propped up, waiting for the verdict in this case. The Border Patrol serial killer case. Because the jury had gone out to deliberate about 2:30 p.m. and then so I ended the live at 7:30 because Crashley comes after me and I didn't want to go into her time. So at 7:36 the jury comes back with a verdict and I'm going to show it to you. Here it is.
Session, Honorable Judge Oscar Hale Jr. presiding.
Ooh, the lights over here look like they're off. I don't know. It just looks. Thank you. Right, the jury's reached a verdict. Can we bring the jury in, please?
Yes, sir.
You may be seated. Has the jury reached a verdict? Was it a unanimous verdict?
Yes, it was.
Can you please hand the verdict form to the bailiff? Can the defendant please stand? In front. Verdict form. We, the jury, find the defendant, Juan David Ortiz, guilty of the offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment and as instructed in this charge. signed by the presiding juror. This is your verdict, correct? Thank you. Mr. Ortiz, you heard the jury's verdict. You have the right to allocution, which means you have the right to make a statement if you wish.
My name, Your Honor, we have the jury polled.
Okay, so they're asking for the jury to be polled, so meet the juror list. Well, I'm just going to call you by number from the back. Juror number 1, can you please stand and tell me, was this your verdict? In the front.
Guilty.
Juror number 2?
Guilty.
Juror number 3?
Guilty.
Juror number 4?
Guilty.
Juror number 5?
Guilty.
Juror number 6?
Guilty.
Juror number 7?
Guilty.
Juror number 8?
Guilty.
Juror number 9? Juror number 10?
Guilty.
Juror number 11?
Guilty.
And juror number 12?
Guilty.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Ortiz, as I was saying, you have the right to make a statement if you wish. Would you like to make a statement at this time? No? Anything else?
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor.
All right. And Mr. Alanis, were there going to be victim impact statements made?
Yes, Your Honor, after the court
Okay.
opposes sentence.
I just wanted to make sure that,
Yes, we
Yes.
have representatives of the family that would like to make victim impact statements after Mr. Ortiz's sentence.
correct. So, Mr. Ortiz, at this, as you know, I'm sure your attorneys have informed you and you've heard throughout the trial, this charge of capital murder has an automatic sentence of life in prison without the possibility for parole. So at this time, the court is going to assess the punishment of life in prison without the possibility of parole. That is your sentence at this time. Mr. Alanis?
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to ask any family member from representing Melissa to please step forward. Melissa Ramirez. Hold on, handcuff.
Very interesting, huh? So, they do things a little different in this venue. As you saw, they made him walk up to the front of the courtroom, and then right afterwards, they put him in handcuffs and they put him in custody, and then they made him stand to the side, still in the front of the courtroom, while the victims came up and gave their impact statement. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. He sentences him right away. He said, it's automatic. This is an automatic sentence. Life in prison without the possibility of parole. And I know you guys are thinking, hey, what happened to the death penalty? Well, they do have the death penalty in Texas, and they've used it. But apparently the families agreed to take the death penalty off the table. They were not, I don't know how that is, based on listening to their impact statements. But anyway, that's what I'm being told. The family agreed that it could be taken off the table. I'm not sure I agree with that. But in any case, automatic life in prison without the possibility of parole, then the impact statements. And they spoke directly to him. They looked at him and they talked to him. And the older lady who's been in, the mother of Melissa Ramirez, the first victim, first one he murdered, she's been in court this whole time and always crying, bless her heart, always in tears. And she spoke in Spanish, so I have no idea what she said. But pretty much everybody else spoke English, and we're quite angry with him, quite angry. You know, we loved these people. They were human beings. They had people that loved them. Yes, were they doing something they probably shouldn't have been doing? Were they doing drugs? Yes, but, you know, they weren't doing drugs as recreation. They were doing drugs to cope with life. You know, they had issues. They had problems. We've tried to help them with the problems, but you can't live your life for them. Anyway, sad ending. Here's the saddest part. as the courtroom is clearing, because the camera keeps rolling, after court is adjourned and everybody's leaving, the one half of the side of the courtroom was all of the families of the victims, and they're hugging, and the prosecution's hugging, and everybody's hugging, and as they make their way out. So they make their way out, and then the camera pans over, and there's 3 women behind the defense table. And one is just, she's got her head down, and the other 2 have their arms around her, and they're talking to her, and she is just sobbing. And this is his wife, Juan David Ortiz's wife. That's who I feel sorry for. Like, she was blindsided by this, totally blindsided. She's living a life, and comes to find out everything she thought was true is a lie. Who is this man that I'm married to? How was he doing this? I can't even imagine what her and her children are going through. Oh my God. Anyway, so that case is done with. I'm sure the appeals will be filed, and the usual stuff. So let's move on to the Aaron Dean, Fort Worth Police Department officer, former. He quit 3 days after the shooting. And the bosses say, well, we would have fired him anyway. Well, I don't know. So, surprise, the prosecution rested their case after 3 days of testimony. 3 days. They did not put on any evidence of police training. Here's what training he had. Here's what's appropriate. Like, you would have thought they, here's the proper procedure for this kind of a call, and he followed it or he didn't. Like, none of that kind of testimony. I'm like, what? Yeah, so what they did yesterday is they put on a lot of forensic evidence came yesterday. They had a guy come in and do a 3D scan of the crime scene, this high-tech 3D scan. I think they do that in real estate a lot, where they want to show off the home. So you get a really good picture of what this home looked like. It was a mess. So clearly, Tatiana played video games versus cleaning house. And I can totally relate to that. Although I got to tell you, my house does not look like that. I close the cabinets. Everything's in the cabinets, off the floor, except for Duncan's toys. Duncan's toys are on the floor because he won't let you pick them up. If you pick them up, he goes and gets them back out. Long story. Anyway, then they showed the gun that Tatiana had, where she ran and got her gun out of her purse when she heard a noise. So they showed that to the jury, and then they showed the service weapon for the officer. Okay, I believe you. They're guns. It wouldn't have meant anything to me, except, okay, yeah, she had a gun, he had a gun. Then the last witness was Ashley Carr, her sister and the mother of the little boy that testified earlier. And she was talking about, she was a good person. She would light up the room when she walked in. Okay, I can't say what I'm going to say. My sister knows what I was going to say. I won't say it. In any case, she had aspirations of becoming a doctor. She lived in Dallas, but she thought the commute to Fort Worth to take care for her mom and help out with Zion was too long. So she moved in with her mother. Instead of traveling from Dallas to Fort Worth, she moved in with her mom, thought, okay, I'm going to save some money because I want to go to medical school. And it's going to require a lot of money. So she's saving up her money. Ashley said that Tatiana wanted to cure diabetes because she had been suffering from diabetes her whole life. She had juvenile diabetes, which that's a tough disease. It really is. So she moved in with her mom. And, so it was basically character witness, what a great person Tatiana was. And I believe that. I believe she probably was, very sweet, probably very endearing. Then they put on the medical examiner. I don't know if he came before or after Ashley, because to tell you the truth, I wasn't watching that part. So the medical examiner, first of all, he had the best mustache. Oh my God. One of those like Dudley Do-Right, mustaches. Yay. You get the best mustache award. He testified that she suffered a single gunshot wound to the chest that was not survivable. It was too devastating for her to have survived. That's very sad. And then the prosecution rests her case. So to the defense's surprise, so the defense says to the judge, listen, we have witnesses, but they're not ready. They're not available on Friday. We didn't expect them to rest their case yet. You have to turn over your witness list ahead of time. And I'm sure the prosecution, same thing happened in the Parkland shooter case where the defense rested unexpectedly, even though they had all these people on their witness list that they didn't call. I think that's what happened in this case. But here's what I think is going to happen. So the judge recessed the case. There's no trial today and said, come back on Monday and bring in your witnesses. That's reasonable. But here's what I think. The defense is going to put on their case. Their contention is that she had pulled up her gun, and that's why he shot her. He saw her gun come up. But he was also telling her to put her hands up, so I don't know. So I think the prosecution is going to put on the rest of their witnesses in rebuttal. Yeah, that's what I think. I think they're waiting for the defense to come in and make that argument that he saw the gun and he saw her raise the gun and this was self-defense. I'm not so sure it wasn't, I'm not so sure. So here's what I want you guys to watch. The video of the body cam of Aaron Dean. Now, the body cam footage that his partner, the other woman that came on, the other police officer that was with him, the backup officer, mysteriously disappeared that night. But here's his body cam. Take a look.
All right, Ms. Diener, you may proceed.
Start at the beginning.
Put your hands up! Come on, hands up!
So it happened so quickly. Like you're like, what? Rewind that. Yeah, he comes around the back of the house and it just happens in an instant. Like he doesn't even get the words out of his mouth when he fires the shot. did she have time to react? Did she point a gun at him? Now the little boy he's told two different stories. One, he says he didn't see her raise a gun. That's the 3-year-old story, or the story he tells after 3 years. His initial story was, yes, she raised the gun. Yes, I saw flashlights. Yes, I heard the officers tell her to raise her hands. So what does the defense do now? What is their strategy? Do they go ahead and make that argument that it was self-defense? Do they put their defendant on the stand? Does he take the stand in his own defense? I don't know. I'm sure that there's a lot of conversations happening this weekend about what should we do? Because if they rest now, all the jury has is this video, and all they have is he said, she's. They don't have anything about what was the proper procedure that night. They know that it was put out as an open structure, which the one officer that took the stand, the backup officer, said, we handled it as a silent alarm. That's what we're taught. No one has come on to say that she's right or she's wrong. That's what we know. Then they have the little boy, two different versions, so it depends on which version they believe. That's all they have. What is going on out there? Oh, I'm getting a delivery. Delivery! Be right back. It's probably the dog food. I ordered dog food. Chewy.com, the best. It's so, you don't have to lug these huge bags of dog food around. They just deliver it right to your front porch, throw it onto your front porch, and say, hey, good luck. Anyway, and it's been raining off and on today. It's not really raining, just kind of like this mist, like this fine mist. Now, we were told that after 8 o'clock last night, we're going to get rain all night long. Didn't happen. I don't believe the weatherman around here. Do you ever believe you're a weatherman? So I have to show you. That's it for the trials. There's nothing else going on in the trials arena. We can talk about this day in history, though. December 8th. I bet you guys know what I'm going to talk about, because everybody knows what happened on December 8th, 1980. If you know, put it down in the comment. Say, I knew. Raise your hand. I knew. John Lennon is shot and killed in front of his apartment building, the Dakota, by Mark David Chapman. 1980. So sad. Now, John Lennon, he's part of the Beatles, the intellectual part of the Beatles. And by this point in his life, he's trying to enjoy his life. He's living with, Yoko Ono, and he's trying to enjoy his life. And this obsessed fan, he gets an autograph earlier that morning, and then he just kind of hangs around the apartment and decides he's going to shoot John Lennon with a .38 caliber weapon. Shoots him 4 times in the back. Now, Mark David Chapman originally pled not guilty by reason of insanity. He was represented by an attorney who later quit because he was getting threats that people were going to lynch him. Because he was court appointed. He's like, I'm out. So he gets another lawyer who says, you need to plead not guilty by reason of insanity. So they have like a dozen psychologists, psychiatrists testify. At least 3 for the prosecution. Some were court appointed, and then 6 for the defense. And all the defense experts came back, the physicians came back and said he's psychotic. 5 of them said he's paranoid schizophrenic. The 6th one said he's got manic depression. And then the prosecution, interesting how it depends on who pays you as to what they say. The prosecution experts who examined him said, no, his delusions fall short of psychosis, and he's just got a variation of a personality disorder. Yeah. And the court-appointed psychiatrist agreed with the prosecution and said he's competent to stand trial. And he wants to plead not guilty. He doesn't want to plead insanity. I don't want to be found insane. So they said he was cooperating with the prosecution experts and not cooperating with the defense doctors. And so nonetheless, he tells the court, I want to plead guilty to this. I don't want to be found mentally ill. So the court says, I believe that you are competent to stand trial, and I will accept your plea of guilty, and I'm sentencing you to 20 years to life. Now, he could have sentenced him to the maximum, which would be 25 years to life. Doesn't matter. He has had 12 parole hearings since the year 2000 when he became eligible for parole. That was his 20 years later. He became eligible. They said no. All 12 times, no. That it would desecrate what he had done. You know, they thought maybe he's still a danger. Now the court, when they sentenced him, said he should get mental health, treatment while he's in prison. Whether he got it or not, I don't know. He's given several interviews. For the first 6 years, he wouldn't talk to anybody. But now he's talking to everybody. Everybody that'll listen, and there's movies and books and that whole thing out there. He is eligible for parole. Another parole hearing is scheduled for February of 2024. This will be his 13th time asking for parole. He says, I'm not a danger to society. I found God. Let me tell you, he had found God way before he shot John Lennon. He actually, after he shot John Lennon, he sat there reading Catcher in the Rye. At the crime scene, sat there reading Catcher in the Rye until he was arrested. He called the Catcher in the Rye his manifesto. Now, I've never read the book, so I can't tell you how this relates. And I haven't watched any of the movies, but he's still sitting in jail. He is now 66 years old. He's been in jail for 42 years. Yeah. He ain't getting out. I don't think he's getting out. Yeah. So, very sad. Very sad. So, I wanted to show you, before we go today, what my sister finished last night. I am so proud of her. And this is the most beautiful painting. Oh, my God. All right. Let me show you. It is the Polar Express. This is a Diamond Art Club. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh my God, it looks beautiful. And she just, like she added ABs into the lights on the train, and she did some things down here with ABs into the puffs of smoke. Is that not gorgeous? And you can see the kids here at the end of the train. It is so beautiful. Okay, we're going to put this up somewhere for Christmas. It is gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. This is all Aurora Borealis. If you don't know what Aurora Borealis is, that's a special resin diamond that has an iridescent coating on it that makes it like even more sparkly than it would normally be. But just gorgeous. So I don't know what she's going to work on now. Oh, she's blinging my Christmas cards. Yeah. So I'm going to roll this up. Man, it is gorgeous. You can roll, especially if it's a Diamond Art Club, you can roll these up. It doesn't hurt the canvas at all to roll them up. But, man, that is stunning. We're going to run out of wall space in our house. We have so many diamond paintings. They're everywhere, but that's what we do. Yeah, we're crofters. What are you going to do? And I think we're getting our Hirschner's order today. I'm so excited. New puzzles, a crochet project for me. It was free shipping, Black Friday, that whole thing. Okay, so that is the show for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please make sure you hit that like button. Share this with someone who you might think would enjoy, crafting and crime. Yeah, because that's what I do. Look, got the gnomes on today. Yep. I gotta go to the post office. Again, another package that went out. Yay! All right, have a great day, everybody. Love you. Hey, I'll be streaming Disney Dreamlight Valley tonight, 6:30. Come join me. Bye.